Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider.
Hello, and welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baronowski-Schneider, CEO of Pristine Advisors. Today, I'm joined by Stephen Rosenfeld of Columbia Skincare. Our topic today focuses on skincare. As America's oldest skincare company, Columbia Skincare has seen enormous technical innovations over the years. Their deep understanding of the skin microbiome and its relationship to our health and wellness gives them a roadmap to developing a new paradigm for skincare. So thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Thank you, Patricia. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have been involved in consumer products all of my life. I started out in a completely different industry, but very, very people-oriented. It was the entertainment industry.
Wow.
Many years ago. And while working in that capacity, I was part of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. I helped co-found a division there called Music Cares. And Music Cares was created to help artists of all types who needed assistance, whether it be emotional assistance, mental help, financial assistance, whatever was needed. We were trained and we learned how to provide those services effectively. And it was that experience which convinced me that what I was doing in entertainment was marvelous, but helping people was even greater, more satisfying. I kept that in the back of my mind. And when I had an opportunity to segue into the health and wellness space, I jumped at that opportunity.
Nice.
Almost 30 years ago. So I've been doing what I am doing basically for about 3 decades.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you.
So now, why don't you give us a quick rundown of what people can learn from Columbia Skincare?
Well, Columbia Skincare is America's oldest skincare-based skincare products-focused company. We have developed products over the years that were created to enhance the symbiosis between the skin and the microbiome, which the skin hosts. We have never taken a cosmetics approach to skincare, and I think that's a real point of differentiation, because this industry was basically created as a cosmetic, meaning a temporary makeover, look better momentarily,
right?
And not enough attention was paid to the long-term benefits of making the skin healthier, and not just looking nicer cosmetic. So that's we have really been focused on that approach for 153 years.
Wow, amazing. So now, what's your science behind the approach to skincare?
Well, so the science is that about making the skin healthy and not cosmetically treating it. So we continue to identify ways to strengthen and balance the microbiome, help heal damaged skin tissue, and we do that. We focus a little differently than other companies. Our primary understanding of how we can best help people maintain healthy skin is to make sure that the natural organic desquamation process is performing optimally. So that is the approach we take. We look at that at skin desquamation, and we recognize that so many skin conditions are the result of an imbalance, a dysfunctional desquamation process.
Mhm.
That's why people seek out chemical peels and harsh exfoliation. Uh, we felt there was a better way to enhance the desquamation process organically, and that's our approach. That's our science, really.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize just everyday life. I mean, between chemicals, whatever we're eating, drinking, things in the air, the sun, biggest factor. It all plays a role in your appearance. And as kids, I'm a fair skinned person. We on the beach with our baby oil. I mean, we didn't have any clue back then. And, obviously seeing the damage now, it's definitely not what we expected as a kid.
Actually, I can remember, Patricia, seeing people at the beach in Jones Beach, and
Mhm.
laying on the sand with these huge devices that they were
Right.
the sun to speed up their tan.
Right.
Crazy, but that's what we're constantly learning. What we know today, we didn't know last month.
Yeah, for sure.
Things about where we are today, where we're positioned, is we are really finally learning about our bodies, about the human microbiome, and about how important it is to recognize the relationship between health and wellness, and a symbiotic relationship between our microbiome and our skin
Right.
in our body. So it's a fascinating time to be studying this, really.
Right. Nice. So now, how do your products support the epidermal renewal process?
Well, okay. So we support the epidermal renewal process by way of enhancing and maintaining a proper desquamation, skin desquamation. And as skin cells die, they are naturally exfoliated from the epidermis and replaced by new cells. And when that particular process is not in harmony with the body, and sometimes the cellular renewal is accelerated, that's when you get conditions. Acne is certainly a prime cause of that. Eczema, even rosacea, can all be traced to dysbiosis in the desquamation process. So we support epidermal renewal by ensuring that the body's system of desquamation is operating optimally.
Right. Yeah, I know it's a shame because I know, some people who just suddenly develop like psoriasis, and doctors don't investigate why. It's just, we'll just give you, it's funny because the person, it's almost like a guinea pig. They're just constantly giving you creams. They work, they don't work yet. You just guinea pig, see which one works. How about finding out why this is happening all of a sudden?
Yes. Sadly, this not only exists within the skincare sector, but sadly, this is a situation we face in oncology, gastroenterology, neurology. It's always been hit and miss, and it's changing now. I'm happy to say we are seeing a genuine paradigm change, but it's slow, and there are organizations that have a vested interest in the old way of doing things, and that's it's hard to change that
Yeah.
reality, but it's happening
Yeah.
because the people are responding so favorably to the new methods that are being engaged, and the results are there. So we will see skincare, of course, is changing dramatically. Uh, you see brands that we've seen for years and years are changing or even disappearing. Uh,
Mhm.
some of the biggest companies in the world are consolidating, and some of the newer products are genuinely effective and less cosmetic oriented.
Good. Nice. So now, what natural ingredients are used in your products?
Well, while our formulations are proprietary, and that's another thing that kind of distinguishes us from a lot of companies, we develop all of our formulations in-house.
Wow, nice.
We actually source our ingredients with suppliers who become partners with us.
Nice.
So much of what we have in our products becomes a proprietary ingredient. But I can tell you that we combine different botanicals. We use plant stem cells, certainly, of course, specific amino acids, vitamins, and even in some of our products, strain-specific bacteria, postbiotics to enhance the skin barrier function.
Wow, sounds really interesting.
It is. It's interesting. It's deep science research because we're not a Me Too brand.
Right.
We do is unique.
Nice. Now, what kind of results have your customers seen after using your products?
You know, one of the things that I am especially pleased with is, generally speaking, our customers will tell us after just using the product for a short time that their skin feels better.
Nice.
When we inquired as to what do they mean, they don't mean simply by touching it and it feels better, but it feels better internally.
Nice.
It can feel the difference, and that I don't think is a common reaction for most companies. Most times, if a product is doing anything at all, they will say, "Well, I look better. I have less wrinkles." And of course, that's all pretty much a temporary experience.
Right.
But when someone actually can say, "I can feel my skin is better,"
Wow.
to me is tells me we're doing our job correctly.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're putting all natural ingredients. You're not doing any chemicals, you know?
No, and we're balancing. We understand the relationship between the skin, the cellular component, and the microbiome, which is hosted by the skin. There is a real important relationship there that up until recently most people weren't even aware of it.
Right.
So fortunately, we've been engaged in the research of the human microbiome for about 30 years.
Nice.
And we've learned a great deal, and we've shared a great deal. We also belong to a number of organizations that share data, one being the One Health Initiative, which is a global organization comprised of scientists, researchers, and no really commercial ventures. I think we were the first, and we still may be the only company that has a commercial component to it. That's a member group.
Wow.
But it's great to be a part of it because we do speak among ourselves all the time, and we share information. So it's a valuable tool for us.
Nice. Now, what makes your products different from other skincare products on the market?
Well, we differ in many ways. I guess our 150 years of being focused on skincare gives us a well of information, an intellectual database that exceeds that of most other companies. But I think from the very beginning, our company focused on healing. Since we never really considered ourselves a cosmetic company, our approach has always been formulating products to the highest medical standards and promoting healing at the heart of every product we make.
Right.
That's why we're endorsed by so many dermatologists, not just for the efficacy, but also the safety of our products. We've never had a recall. We really have our products are designed specifically for all skin types.
Nice.
So I think that's what makes us different. We go the extra mile in product development to make sure that that we have a product safe and effective.
Nice. Now, how has your approach to skincare changed the paradigm in the industry?
Well, that's a good question. I think the paradigm change that we've been most responsible for helping along is the shift from making someone over, making someone well, and I think it's a big distinction. And the very nature of the cosmetic industry is to make one over. In fact, you may recall, when one was studying to become an esthetician, they were learning about the layering. You had to layer and layer and layer. Today, we know for sure that less is more. And that's why we only have two products in our professional skincare line, a serum and a cream. You don't really need a whole lot more than that. Of course, you can, in doing a facial treatment, you can add cleanser and all that, but it doesn't have to be our specific cleanser.
Right.
So, but I think that's really crucial to the paradigm changes. People are now thinking about making skin healthier and well. In fact, you've seen the dramatic rise of the organization, the Global Wellness Summit, which we've been, participating in for many, many years. They today are one of the fastest growing organizations globally, and stressing wellness. And I think we had a contribution to the growth of that whole concept.
Nice. I know it's amazing how, like even say tanning beds. I had this conversation with someone how everybody, even though they say tanning beds could cause cancer, nobody cared about that. They wanted to look good. But then when it gets to the point where but this could cause wrinkles. Oh, wait, no, I don't know. It's like that was more important than cancer. It's, but now obviously there's a lot more like self-tanning creams and things like that. So it seems to be people are finally becoming aware that, beauty's only skin deep, but you need to be healthy. You could put a cream on and get a tan. You don't need to sacrifice cancer and skin cancer.
Absolutely. And while you mention that, I'm glad that you did, because I might not have even touched on this, but it's important. We do not have a sun care product. We do not have a sunscreen or a sun blocker yet. But it's really, really important that people should understand the importance of protecting their skin from the sun. Too much exposure to UVB, and really, it's sunscreen and sunblock is not a summertime thing. It's not going to the beach thing. It's an everyday necessity. Right. To if you're outdoors anywhere on a regular basis for an extended period of time, you need to protect your skin from the sun. I'm really thrilled to say we will have a very unique sunscreen in 2023. Nice. We've been planning it for 4 or 5 years, but the pandemic, the arrival of the pandemic, slowed down the process, disrupted some of the supply chain, and so I think we will finally be able to introduce that product this year. Nice. It will be designed a little differently from all others because it is designed specifically for everyday use. Right. And
Because people don't realize, like you say, it's an everyday thing. Like my dad, back in the 60s, they all wore the white t-shirts, like the Fonzie days. And as he's, got older, he had spots on his back, which turned out to be cancerous. And he says, but I don't lay out in the sun, but the sun goes through white material apparently. And
Absolutely.
that's,
Absolutely.
it's a danger just by being out in the sun.
No doubt, no doubt. So we plan to address that issue as soon as we possibly can.
Nice.
We've formulated something that I think is very, very special.
Very nice. Now, what clinical tests have you conducted to prove the efficiency of your products?
Well, okay, so every one of our products goes through a clinical trial. When I say clinical, we engage the services of an outside organization, several different outside organizations, depending on which products we're looking at. And this agency is responsible for obtaining a group of individuals, all different ages, all different skin types, and all different skin health conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, unlike companies who do a clinical trial you can do a clinical trial with 10 patients.
Right.
I forget now what the FDA minimum is, but we don't, whenever we do a clinical trial or try experimenting and testing new products, it's usually in the hundreds of people, and in some cases, the thousands.
Oh, nice.
An expensive proposition, but we know how important it is to really get it right the first time.
Right.
That's why you don't have to ever look at our product and see on the label new and improved.
Right.
That hasn't happened in 150 years.
I was going to say that's a good testimony how you've been around for that long.
and so by extensively testing it with all different types of skin, all different skin conditions, and all different age groups, we can conclude what this product is capable of doing. And so when we make a claim, we can support that claim by looking at the evidence of our trials.
Nice. Now tell us a bit about under the microscope, rethinking the science in skincare.
Well, so the science of skincare and virtually all the other sciences are undergoing a metamorphosis. We are seeing a whole new world of evidence confirming the need for new approaches to health and wellness. And so when we say under the microscope, we're basically talking about our understanding of the skin and the human microbiome. Mm-hmm. And how the skin, which is microbiome, which is one of many microbiomes, how it interacts with the other microbiomes, and how it helps protect us and keep us alive and keep us healthy. And what could happen, because you can have a perfectly healthy bacteria on your skin that could suddenly morph and become harmful. Mm. And what we are constantly learning and studying how that happens, what causes that to happen, and how we can prevent that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So there's so much taking place right in that regard. This began with the Human Microbiome Council, I guess about 20 some odd years ago. And it's just constantly expanding.
Wow.
In fact, our research has expanded beyond simply focused on skincare. We have seen so many connections between and communication between the microbiomes. We are now looking at how and if there even is a distinct microbiome of the brain, and we, although everybody the mainstream thinking is that there isn't one, we disagree with that. We feel there certainly is one, and we're out looking to prove that. And if we are successful in confirming that, it will be very different from the other microbiomes. It will have far less diversity, but that doesn't mean it's not as important to understand and research. And I think we will learn from that. Perhaps we will identify some pathways between a dysbiosis in that microbiome and the onset of mental health issues, depression, and other things. So we really are excited about it.
Nice. I mean, it's good that you're doing the, investigating on that because, like, not relating to skincare, but everything seems to be connected. Like, for example, I suffered from migraines for many, many years, and doctors never figured out why. It was just pills, 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 and shots and everything. And it turns out I used to take vitamins. Once you reach a certain age, take all these vitamins. And I
Yes.
did. And I was in an accident at one point. I was in the hospital, kind of unconscious. And my husband said that it was almost like I was going through a detox. They had to put blankets on me, ice cold blankets. They didn't know what was going on. I wasn't fevering. But anyway, after a couple of days of that, it was a month in the hospital. I obviously wasn't taking any vitamins. Do you know I never got a migraine since that day, since that accident? And
Wow.
it seemed that that was my body's way of reacting to, you don't need these vitamins, stop taking them. So it resulted in migraines, vicious migraines, like
Wow.
5 times a week. But just basically everything in the body is connected somehow. So you could be 100% right. And it's great that you're doing the investigation to see.
No question. Your story is a fascinating one because whenever you now today when you buy a vitamin, they'll have a minimum daily requirement, but they'll also have a warning about taking too much of it.
Yeah,
And
you don't know.
who knew? We always used to think the more the merrier. But
Right.
the reality is, uh, there are limits, and there are points in which too much of a good thing is just that, too much of a good thing.
Yeah, well, like even calcium, they say, oh, when you reach a certain age, take calcium, it's good for osteoporosis, blah, blah, blah. And then my doctor doing blood work, she's like, you really don't need that. You maybe need this one. So but again, you just read the news and it's like you're just popping pills and you don't know, like a typical thing. It could react with some sort of skin condition. It's just your body's reaction to saying we don't need this.
No question about it. And,
Yeah,
and that's exactly what we're learning. And
good.
that's really under the microscope type of
Right.
discussions. That's what we
That's awesome.
in the last few years we've learned more than the previous what 2 centuries. Uh,
Wow.
it's just really remarkable, and the process continues.
Yeah, good job, though. Now, you've been in the media and have won many, many awards, which is a great testimony to your products. Now, is there anything you want to add?
Well, I think I kind of hinted. We will do things, of course, that we will be introducing a sun care product of great importance. I think it speaks to now there's going to be a tremendous process required to educate the consumer about the need, because few, if any, people recognize. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There are people who do use sunscreen every day.
There's many that should, but yeah.
Not a giant audience, but we certainly plan to um, engage in an educational process.
Good.
That's very exciting, and I think the fact that our biotechnology division, which is now working on looking at confirming the existence of the brain microbiome and then identifying some valid theories for expanding our approach to mental health care.
Nice.
I think that's something that we're really excited about.
That's awesome. Now, what's one big takeaway you want listeners to get from this episode?
I would like the listener to be have their imagination piqued and have them want to learn a little bit more about what we've been doing, what we are currently doing, and where we're going. I think we are taking steps to really become an important component to human health and wellness. And that would be a great takeaway, because we spend so much of our energy and resources in product development.
Right.
Oftentimes, it's hard to compete with the budgets of these giant companies who are in every single magazine and even have these influencers all over.
Celebrities, yeah.
We have never used a paid influencer, and we have no plans to do so.
Right.
And sometimes that hurts. You'll never see us on a TikTok. So I think takeaway that I would really want to be is that we're authentic. We are really transparent. We've withstood 2 global pandemics, 2 world wars.
Wow.
And I think the fact that we are still growing and still expanding into other areas and developing great products, award-winning products, but more important than award-winning products that make a difference in people's lives.
Right.
I think that's the takeaway. That if you haven't heard about us in the first 153 years of our existence, it's about time you did now.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be the takeaway.
Nice. Now I'm going to post your contact info on a slide, but if you want to just tell people how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. We have a website, columbiaskincare.com. We also have, you can email us at info@columbiaskincare.com, and we'll have a representative get back to you. If anyone wants to reach out to me directly, I can't promise you back as promptly as if just going to info@Columbia Skincare. I do get literally thousands of emails each day. It's a scary thought, but you can reach me at srosenfeld@columbiaskincare.com. But the best way to get a response is to go through the info@columbiaskincare.com, because that's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week active center.
Nice.
So, and I do appreciate your courtesy and extending that information to your viewers.
No worries. It's my pleasure. I mean, I love all of this. I love learning new things. And, I love that you're advancing even into the mental, because, you're branching out and broadening the spectrum here. And I think it's awesome because it all ties together. I'm kind of living proof of that.
I did say that that what got me interested really was with Music Cares originally. But since that time, much more recently, I was on the board of a hospital. I was a member of the board of advisors of the psychiatric board. And so I interacted with doctors all the time and donors. And what I really learned there is that some of the most successful products being used to treat mental illness are 40, 50, and even 60 years old. Which means there hasn't been a whole lot of new, exciting returns.
Right.
So that also left a big question mark in that. So now as we're learning about the communications and the connections between the human microbiomes, and having the opportunity to explore, it's really something I'm thrilled about being able to do. And also we see, particularly with the pandemic, we see such an increase in depression. That something needs to be accelerated in terms of product development, understanding of the condition. And so whatever part we can contribute to that overall effort, we're just thrilled to be able to do so.
Nice. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Again, that was Stephen Rosenfeld of Columbia Skincare. Thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the show here. So thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Patty. Pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.